Hello, welcome to our 9 p.m. English New Edition. The top story is for tonight. The job creation is human capital and modernization of public institutions for international scene. Donald Trump's state visit to the United Kingdom demonstrated in London. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic expressed his best wish to his compatriot of Eid al-Fitr. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, expressed in the current context of Advent of Eid al-Fitr his best wishes of health, happiness and blooming to all his compatriots. I express the wish that Almighty God rewards us with His rewards for the intense pity our community has enjoyed during the blessed month of Ramadan, said the President of the Republic. I also express the wish that the Eid al-Fitr be a successful moment of communion and family-friendly civic and national joy for all the Djiboutians. He said, having a particular thought to those of our people in difficulties of precariousness and isolation, said the head of state. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Mohammed Ali Mohammed and in accordance with Rules 22 of the Rules Procedures, the third plenary sessions of the first ordinary sessions of the Parliament, the year 2019 of 8th legislature, took place on Mondays 3 June 2019 in the hemicycle of these sessions, was attended by Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, Member of Government, and all parliamentarians. I have for agenda the examinations of 6 bills admitted. Namely, in addition, this public sessions was marked by an important event, namely the receptions of the new members of the government, which was unveiled on May 5, 2019 by the head of state, Ismail Omar Guelleh. Before the meeting, President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Mohammed, congratulated Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed on his reappointment to this high office, as well as the member of government who were reappointed and the new ministers. Under the chairmanship of the Honorable Mohammed Ali Mohammed, the Conference of Presidents of the National Assembly was held on Monday, June 3, 2019, in the premises of Parliament. At this conference, the government was represented by Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed. Also participating in these meetings were the first Vice President, the chairpersons of Parliament Group, and the Standing Committee and the General Rapporteurs of the budget. The Conference of Presidents has dealt first of all with the transmissions to the relevant Standing Committee of the pending bills, which number 2, namely amending certain provisions of law, legislatures and the intergovernmental agreement to the natural gas pipeline project. Finally, the President of the National Assembly recalled that the closing date of the first regular sessions and the date of the fourth sessions will be June 30, 2019. A high-level consultation meeting was held yesterday morning at the hotel to discuss ways and means to guide Djibouti's long-term vision for 2035 strategy based around 3 pillars, in particular job creation, human capital, and finally the modernization of public institutions. Regarding human capital, the aim will be to support inclusive development by building on the education, health, social protection and resilience of a vulnerable group, thereby ensuring quality basic service and at the same time encouraging households to adopt healthy behaviors to develop the human capital of the youngest. Finally, the third aspect is the modernization of public administration, a strategy of our public administrations and benefit from the improved transparency, inclusion and efficiency of digital technology, and to put Djibouti citizens at the head of digital transformation. Through this consultation meeting, the bank expresses its desire to strengthen dialogue with the ministries involved in this transformative initiative. In addition to the Ministers of Finance, Ilyas Musa Dawale, the Minister of Energy, Decentralization, Higher Education, Communication, Agriculture, including the Minister of Social Affairs, Housing, and senior officials took part in this meeting. During his intervention, the representative of the World Bank, Mr. Atu Seku, has talked about the partnership between the World Bank and the Republic of Djibouti to guide these interventions through the various branches of the World Bank, including the International Finance Corporation, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, over the next 5 years. As for the Minister of Finance and Economy, Ilyas Musa Dawale, the aim is to respond to the government's concern to increase employment in order to meet the labor forces and the labor market criteria required, while he thanked the World Bank's support. Health Minister Mohamed Warsama Diriye visited the Hussein Center yesterday in the morning to assign a visit as part of the contact tower. Welcomed by the center's director, the minister was greeted with a great pump by the staff, who gave him a warm welcome. The Hussein Center is a national reference in terms of reproductive health and is located at the different levels of the health pyramid. The Minister of Health, Mohamed Warsama, listened carefully to the various intervention and explanation provided by the officials. The minister also stated that the Hussein Center is an important link of our health systems and therefore requires special attention. The Health Minister Mohamed Warsama Diriye, accompanied by the Acting Secretary General, also visited the Sheikho Hospital in Balbala as part of the first visit, accompanied by a strong delegation of executive in his department. The minister was welcomed on his arrival by the Director General of the hospital, Mr. Musa Ibrahim Suge. The hospital staff formed a hedge of honor for the new minister, who was received in an inspiring and friendly atmosphere. Little capacity of 118 and 500 medical and administrative staff. The minister has therefore visited the main service that make up the second largest hospital in the country, starting with the emergency and outpatients department, which include all medical specialists in addition to the radiology and the laboratory. The Minister of Health has reviewed the pediatric service, the neonatology unit, and the hospitalization service of surgery and medicine, the operating theater, the intensive care unit of the equipment unit for disabled. The Minister of Equipment Transport, Mr. Musa Mohammed Ahmed, as part of his tower of contact, visit the Djibouti Road Agency this morning, accompanied by the technical advisor, Mr. Mohammed Yaqub, and Ms. Ifrah Idris, Administrative Financial Director. The minister went to the park located in Balbala, where all the ADR equipment is located. Welcomed with joy and the Director General of ADR, Mr. Mohammed Subban Saeed, Mr. Subban Saeed Ismail, and all the staffs of the minister toured the major equipment, including the new equipment of the Japanese donation, as well as all the technical equipment that are at the forefront of technology. After a brief presentation by the Studies Department, in which all the projects carried out and the project in progress were mentioned, the minister did not fail to congratulate the general managers of ADR for his remarkable work. The Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity, represented by Ms. Ifrah Ali Ahmed, Secretary General, made a visit with the World Food Programme representative, Ms. Munita Shimuka. to the local social desks. This visit is part of the second phase of the distribution and scopes care for households eligible for the social perennial solutions for the most vulnerable program, which involves the two institutions, the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, the food programs in the fight against poverty and precariousness. The intervention financed by the European Union Trust Fund will enable both parties to continue to work closely over the next 3 years in its implementation in Djibouti. This program provides cash transfer for poor and vulnerable households identified through the establishment of the social register. The Minister of Urban Planning, Environment and Tourism, Mr. Mohamed Abdelkader Musa, today received the resident representative of United Nations Development Program, Ms. Fatima El Sheikh, accompanied by Mr. Idris Warsama, policy advisors on climate change and environment. The meeting was attended by the Dean Abdullah Umar, Secretary General of the Ministry of Urban Planning, Mr. Hussein Rirash, Director of Environment and Sustainable Development, the Minister and the resident representative of United Nations Development Program jointly reviewed the various projects that the Ministry of Environment implement with the financial and technical support of UNDP. The Director General of the National Police, Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah, yesterday organized first iftars in honor of Interior Minister Moomin Ahmed Sheikh at Idris Farah Habani Police Academy. The participants in these iftars included the Chief of General Staff of Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, the Commanders of the Republican Guard, Colonel Mohammed Jama' Douale, the Commanders of the Coast Guard, Colonel Wais Omar Boghore, the head of the missions of International Organization for Migration, Lalini Verasami, and several officers of the National Police. Upon his arrival at the Idris Farah Habani Academy, Interior Minister Moomin Ahmed Sheikh was welcomed by the Director General of the National Police, Colonel Abdullah Abdi, and then the ministers reviewed the picket lines enacted in his honor with Colonel Abdullah Abdi. After the review, the minister headed to the tent where the distinguished guests were waiting for them to break the young man, who is a special moment for all Muslims. After the breakup of the first RTD diners was followed, the dinner was hosted by the folk group Harbi with religious songs in Afar and Somali language.
قرآن أنتي adkeeyo adooyaalkeena adooyal dhalaabaha ka yeelo dalkeena diinteena dawladeena wixii maartay ku xun Allah gala mariyo.
On the occasion of the blessed month of Ramadan, the popular rally for progress, RPP yesterday organized at headquarters of the Regional Council of Ali Sabih, a collective iftars and distribution of new clothes for the orphans of the region at a commission of the party. RPP headed by the Minister of Labor and Reform Administration, Mr. Usman Ibrahim Roble, Mr. Hussein Idris Guled, National Secretary for the mobilizations of animation meeting and event, had gone yesterday to Ali Sabih to take part in the collective iftars and distributions of the orphans clothes of the blessed month of Ramadan. Iftar was present to the parliamentarian of the region, the president of the Regional Council, Mr. Umar Ahmed Wais, the advisors of the Communication Minister, Mr. Abdi Ali Hussein, the members of the commissions, the notable, the militant of the party, the high executive, RPP Ali Sabih President, Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim, as well as the member of the Annex Committee. To draw smiles on the faces of orphans, to offer clothes, this noble and gratifying gesture, initiated by the RPP party, took place yesterday in the region of Oboh. A strong delegation led by the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, Hassan Mohammed Kamil, Minister of Regions, with his two prominent representatives of the new executive office of the party, Hussein Idris Guled and Suleiman Daher Bile. The executive of the region is moved to Hayu, welcomed on their arrival on Oboh soil by the Oboh Annex President, Mr. Ahmed Ali Hamadou, and the representative of the civil society. The RPP party emissaries proceeded to distribute new clothes to disadvantaged children in the annex in the presence of a compact crowd. After the break of fasting, speaking, the president of annex addressed a warm welcome to his distinguished guests and praised this government action that will eliminate the joys and heads of orphans. As for the National Secretary Hussein Idris Guled, they stressed the need as Muslims to always put us alongside the weakest as addressing orphans and demonstrate association asset organized this afternoon in the ceremony of collective to follow it by distributions of 184 high and close to the very great qualities offered by the directors of the NPH, the National Agency for People with Disability, Mr. Duale Saeed Mahamoud, for the benefit of the mentally ill in the regions of Dakhil, and on the occasions of the Eid al-Fitr. This ceremony took place at the headquarters of the association, as said, in the presence of the Deputy Prefect, Mr. Fuad Abu Bakr, the Vice President of the Regional Council, Mr. Ebo Muhammad Ebo, local elected officials, notable representative of the civil society and association, as well as active members of the ASED organizing association. Our heartfelt thanks to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, and to the First Lady Khadra Mahmoud Haida. At the end of this blessed month of Ramadan, the Association is for the Protection of the Social Environment of Dakhil region distribute to the dresses and dates for the orphans, children of Haru neighborhood and the caravan in the Dakhil Regions Council. This ceremony, which took place on the eve of Eid al-Fitr at the Regional Council of Dakhil, the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Abdurrahman Yunus Are, the President of the Association's APS, Mr. Mahmoud Hassan Aden, the parents of the orphans, members of the association were present at distribution for the people's 70 orphans children from the two neighborhoods benefit from the dressing as well as dates cars for the families. As part of the insistence on the vulnerable families and more distribute a gift of life granted of the First Lady, Her Excellency Khadra Mahmoud Haid, the Dakhil UNFD collaborate with the Women's Parliamentarian from the Dakhil region to distribute food donation consisting of rice, sugar, flour, oil and dates. In total, distribution actions was carried out in favor of two Daba and Gami district for 200 families. Abu Ahmed associations continue to distribute food baskets to rural residents in the interior area. In this regard, the owners of the establishment, Mr. Abdurrahman Ahmed Taha, went last Saturday to the locality of Umar Chaga on the region of Arta to distribute food and financial assistance to 200 families. Distribution ceremony took place under the supervision of the prefect of the region, Mr. Abdullahi Darar Okiye, in the presence of the chairman of the regional council, Ilmi Buh Gudade, and some dignitaries and elders. It should be noted that the distribute food aid made up of flour, dates, oil, pasta, and tomatoes, as well as soap and new clothes. This humanitarian gesture testify to the solidarity of the establishment. Abu Ahmed Abdurrahman Ahmed Taha, in his speech, thanks the efforts of low-income groups in the countries. As part of the promotions of solidarity at the end of the month of the blessed month of Ramadan, the RPP Annex of City Nasib has sheltered a ceremony of distributions of dress on the Eid for the children of families preceded as well as the orphan. This ceremony, with the participation of the person in charge with the Annex RPP, note Nasib, the elders of the district and the parents of the orphan. Indeed, more than hundreds of children have benefited from new clothes for the Eid. The association Al Khair proceeded yesterday to the schools of wisdoms to the distributions of new clothes for 400 orphan children aged 1 to 25 years from 3 municipalities of Djibouti. The gesture is part of the register and the celebrations of the Eid al-Fitr in order to allow poor children to celebrate with dignities with new clothes like all in the capital. Let us act together to dress our orphan was the messages of the Beneficent Association during the dress distribution ceremony. Association is composed of a dynamic youth and concerned about the well-being of its neighbors, especially that of the most vulnerable family. Recall that Al Khair main goal is to assist and help families in difficulties. The most vulnerable, neglected children, and especially orphans, is also intends that to organize the provisions of food and school supplies and toys for children from poor family. The inspections of Tajara organized the collective iftars with the different officials of Tajara and the executive family. The present regions, also President of the National Council, Mr. Omar Hussein, and the acting prefect, Habib Jilani. Indeed, after the brick inspectors, Farah reminded that the fall in communion between the leaders of this community is very important, and it has been well said in our religion since the times of Prophet Muhammad. The Raptors of the Young is a group, and he recalled eating together proves solidarity. He thanked the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Omar Hussein, and the acting prefect, Habib Shirani, who and you part that involved with Britain's on Saturday, June 1 at Guled Stadium. The Secretary of State for Youth held a ceremony to distribute award materials for sporting associations from different capital districts that organized a Ramadan tournament during this blessed month of Ramadan. Football, handball, basketball, and volleyball tournament, the petanque, associations took at this ceremony and said from the sports department the ceremony was attended by the director of sport, Mr. Abshir Ali Hassan, and it's the department which launched the big summers. For the international scene, London has donned the colors of United States to welcome U.S. President Donald Trump, who will pay a 3-day state visit to the United Kingdom from Monday to Wednesday. A visit under close surveillance, which is not the U.S. President first. The last times he met Queen Elizabeth II of England last year in well-known. On Tuesday, he is scheduled to meet with Prime Minister Theresa May 3 days before his resignation. In the last few months, he has not been gentle with her. On Sunday, through the press, the U.S. President reiterated his criticism on the way in which she negotiated Brexit, clearly expressed his support for former Foreign Minister Boris Johnson as her successor, and gave his opinions on Brexit once again by recommending by the United Kingdom to leave the European Union without agreement. That's all for this news. Thanks for your attention.